I'm Fred Mulder. I'm a business partner in the Upington circle, the first circle in the ZFM district. I was assigned, as it were, to a school and a school principal in a rural area, not too far from Upington, the Frank Biggs Intermediary School. Wally Klitter was my partner, and before I came onto the program, I had this deep yearning within myself for something more. I had the feeling that there must be more to life than that which I get myself busy with on a day-to-day basis, which is a very analytical world, full of finance and figures and everything revolving around money. And so I realized that there was this hole in my life, and I believe to this day that God sent someone in the form of Gobariem along my way, along my path, and she got me involved in this program. Saying got me involved means that she asked the right questions, and she gave me the opportunity. But for me, it was because of this yearning that I had beforehand. It was a complete yes. When I stepped into this space, for me it was, I'm all in. And as time passed, we went through some of the let's call it workshops in the program. And at first I was very excited to meet my partner. I felt that he shared the excitement, and it seemed like it wasn't a full-on yes from his side as well. As time progressed, I think barriers began to form. It became more and more difficult for us to spend time together, me and my partner, and because we were not spending the time together, the relationship was not being built, it was not being nurtured. And all the while, it was still a firm yes in my heart. I was on board, I was looking forward to growing and still spending the time with my partner and getting to know him. But the sounds from his side were either complete silence, avoidance, and at times lack of commitment. That's the picture that I saw at that stage. At the end of this initial period of going through the various steps in the program, I'm reflecting back to how that relationship almost broke down before it really got started. And I'm looking at my own life and seeing how difficult it has become for me to find time where I can actually still put myself in this space. And although there's still a complete and utter yes in my heart, I can see what a struggle it could have been for my partner. Obviously, because of the lack of time spent, I do not know entirely what he went through, why he did or did not do what he did or did not do. But I can say that I've come to realize that it must have been difficult. It must have been difficult. And that's the great realization of this program for me, is that all over South Africa, there are principals and there are business leaders investing themselves into this program. And that means sacrifice. And it's not the same level of sacrifice for everybody. And sometimes you don't even know what the other person is sacrificing. But people are sacrificing their time, their lives, their talents, their gifts, and they are putting themselves on the line for the future of this country. And that is what has come to the fore for me, and why I'm so appreciative of just being a part of this. If I'm not a part of it through a partnership per se, then that's okay with me, because there's a bigger picture here, and I'm still excited to somehow form a part of this and be one of those people that do sacrifice, that do say yes to this commitment and to this responsibility. And it's a big one, because the future of this country lies in our hands. And we can't leave it to our children to fix this. We need to fix this. We need to fix this now. And it all starts with relationship. And all relationships might not work out. All relationships are not comfy and cozy and all lovey-dovey. Sometimes relationships do break down. But you get up and you start again. And with every partnership that's formed in the future, these experiences will come and go, but as long as we keep on going, as long as we keep on pushing ourselves beyond our comfort zones, beyond our own limitations, and look towards each other, take each other's hands, I feel that we can change a nation.
You did not have your own principal who you could grow with, who you could think with, but yet you had highlights, yet you applied yourself, you gave yourself in another context, and you still have plans to share that in the future, perhaps with an even larger platform than ZFM. Tell me more.
Okay, yeah, so I didn't really have the relationship with my partner to apply some of the truths that we learned throughout this program. But they were so profound. Some of these things were so life-changing that once you grasped them, you couldn't keep from applying them in all aspects of your life, all other relationships of your life. So if I just look at the closest relationships in my life, the relationship with my wife, the concept of giving beautiful attention, of really listening to the other person, and not thinking about what your response is going to be, but really giving that time to the other person, and trusting that the solution to the problems they might bring to the table lies within them, and just asking the questions, the right questions, to get them to find that solution within themselves. That has changed my marriage completely, because now where we would have had conflict without any resolution, we might still have conflict. I believe every marriage has conflict and needs conflict to grow. But now that conflict leads to resolution. It does not lead to resentment. It does not lead to judgment or condemnation. So that's been a huge influence, the concept of giving beautiful attention and almost drawing the solution to every problem out of the person that brings the problem to the table. The same concept, however, in a different way, I've been able to apply with my young daughter, who's 6 years old now. She's very dependent upon my attention especially, but our attention, because she's an only child at this stage. So she's been used to getting our attention. But as you fill your life with more and more stuff, and life becomes a bit more abundant, so to speak, it becomes more and more difficult to spend quality time with your children. And it's more about that little moments where you might in the past have just told your child to do something, or we need to hurry up, or we need to get there, or whatever. Now you take those couple of seconds or minutes and you give beautiful attention, and it changes everything. It changes the way your child sees you. It changes the level of trust between you. She comes to me with her problems now, whereas in the past she would have gone to my wife with her little problems. Now she comes to me because of the fact that she knows I'm going to listen to her. I might not solve all her problems, but I'm there for her. So that's been huge for me. In a work-life situation, one of the big things that I've been able to apply is to say no, because that's something that I've struggled with in the past. I've always, or not always, but in the, let's say, the first 8 to 10 years of my work life, I would have been regarded as somewhat of a workaholic. I put all my energy into it, and because of that, I've gone places in my work life, but I've sacrificed a lot. And now I find it easier to say no when I need to say no, so that I can put my energy into the places, the people, the important things in life, rather than just saying yes to everybody. And at the end of the day, you don't really get anywhere with anybody. You don't look after the relationship. So in my work life, that's been the biggest plus point for me.
You have a plan that you couldn't roll out in a partnership of how you want to assist the principals in thinking more strategically. Give me a bit of that in a nutshell.
Okay, so by lack of a space where I feel like I'm assigned to be, I've been inclined to put myself now into a space where I am available. And because there's less doing in that and more thinking time in that, I spend most of my time related to PFP thinking, strategizing, coming up with ideas of how things might work differently. And one of the initial and really early concepts that came to mind was to get the community at large involved in the school. At the end of the day, that's really what this program is about, is getting two people together, they form a relationship, and that eventually rolls out to the teachers, the staff, the SMT, the SGB, the community at large. But at that stage, when it reaches the point of a community becoming involved, who's this community that we're talking about? And you can support, you can help, you can listen, but at some stage in the process, you need money. So I was asking myself, who are the people that might be able to and want to assist schools that are struggling on a financial level, and how might one structure that? So I came up with a concept, a structure where companies become involved in a non-profit company or through a non-profit company. And that non-profit company is managed on a director level, on a board level, by individuals from the school, from the community, and eventually also from suppliers, financiers, the community at large, so to speak, so that everybody has ownership of how the money is distributed, what are the priorities, etc. So I had a bit of a trial with a school in the DR circle, and thus far it has not really, it's not borne fruit, but I know that the concept's there, the seed is planted, and it's something that could be rolled out on a broader scale. In the more recent past, the other strategic objective has come along in looking at the KPIs that the department uses to measure schools and measure their success, and how that KPI environment could be used in our district and in our circle specifically to really show the progress that this program is making, to create a link between the intangibles in this program and the tangibles that people could see in terms of those KPIs. And the initial thoughts that I've had have led me to the question, are we using the right KPIs? Why are we so focused on matric year-end results when there's so much going on in a school that eventually leads to year-end matric results? So that's really where I feel my immediate focus would be, in being available to the circle, although I'm not in a partnership per se, to be available to see how can we manage this, roll this out, and eventually to a broad base of schools in South Africa.